Hi, and welcome. I'm Terry Bach, your host for the Rewrite Your Money Story series. The topic of debt is so important to me because it affects us in so many different ways. And in talking to entrepreneurs over the last few years, I've seen that how many of us overspend, especially in our businesses. And we end up in debt, and often we don't even know how we got there, and we often don't know how to get out of it. So I've invited several experts on money and on business to discuss the topic of this event, which is how entrepreneurs overspend, get into debt, how to avoid that, and how to get out of debt once they've gotten themselves there. So today I have invited Judy Lynne to get her perspective on this issue. Judy's experience and skill in energy healing and heart-centered approach to coaching entrepreneurs who are interested in massively improving their career and their life, supports her lifelong transition for her clients, or helps her clients have this transformation, a lifelong transformation. So she teaches a powerful, high impact techniques and processes that help clear inner blocks to creating wealth professionally and personally. So thank you, Judy, for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with you and your listeners.
Oh, thank you. So, Judy, I'd like to start by asking you more about you and what brought you to this place in your work. What was your journey to get to doing the work that you're doing?
It actually started out with a self-healing project because I had been through a couple of divorces and through no fault of my own lost custody of my children, was devastated, suicidal, and no money. Had never worked. I was a stay-at-home mom. So there was a lot of self-healing that I had to do because I didn't believe that I was worthy enough or smart enough or educated enough to go out and get a job that was really going to sustain me and my children when I did have them with me. So I began the self-healing, and I came across tapping. I began tapping. I used it on myself, and it was so successful, not only with healing the emotional traumas that I had been through, but also I quit smoking using it. And I thought, oh my God, if it can do this for me,
yeah.
I started anybody who would listen to me, I'd just help them, let me work with you in tapping. So then I decided to get certified and began working with people just in trauma. Worked with a lot of vets and excuse me, and working with people just healing them out of trauma. And then eventually discovered that I had an ability to really read beyond what was the obvious and read their energy. And I began working with them on a much deeper level and started loving the transformation process rather than just getting out of immediate trauma or an immediate sticky situation.
Right.
And so it became a coaching transformational business from there.
Okay, wonderful. So you work around money, but you also work around a lot of other things too.
I do, because money is associated with everything. I mean, what we believe, if we have a lack of love for ourselves, it's a lack. And there's an energy of lack that's going to transform into what we feel about our money and the different aspects of our money, whether it's savings or, our loans, or whether it's our income or whatever it is. So, because it's all energy. And the energy that we put out, we're going to get back in all areas of our life, whether it's love or money or anything else. So it's really important to work on a lot of other levels with people, especially because without doing that, it's really hard to just address the money.
Right, exactly. That's why budgeting doesn't always work alone.
Yeah, you're right, because budgeting can be really frustrating because you're working against, you could be working against an opposing energy with that.
Right. So What are the steps you think that we need to take to get the results that we're looking for?
I think there's staying really in alignment with your vision. We can get so distracted with the different options that are available to us as new entrepreneurs, especially coaches and
Right.
people who are heart-centered and really want to help.
Right.
We're so over exuberant and want to just, oh, I need this and I need this. And
Mhm.
that can lead into overspending and
Definitely.
getting yourself into debt. But
Yes.
I think staying in alignment with your vision is really important. And then breaking that vision down into bite-sized pieces that feel good. Because the second piece of that is in staying in alignment is knowing on a visceral level who you really are as a part of this bigger energy, this larger picture, this
Okay.
source energy. And really working from that level down instead of working from the mental construct and then allowing the emotion coming from that, because the mental can be so judgmental, especially around money, and then allowing the emotions, which could be negative, to flow from that. And then that goes into the physical, which is mostly stress if it's a negative response, right? But if we can stay connected to who we really are and be in alignment with that and see things from that broader perspective with the knowing that all is well, if
Mhm.
I believe that, and that goes along with staying in alignment with that truth of who you are, and see things from the broader perspective, then engage the mental and the emotional and the physical, we're much better off to be able to go into the third piece of what we can do to move our business forward, which is to take inspired action.
Okay. Now, what do you mean by inspired action?
The difference between taking action and taking inspired action is it feels good. Inspired action feels good. There might be an element of fear or anxiousness in there, but it's more of a, I really want to do this. This feels really right, moving in this direction. And I'm a little afraid because I've never done this before.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
and there's a difference between that and saying, I should do this because everybody else is doing it and my business is only here. And so I'm going to do this and this. And then there's a more of a constricted feeling, and it's an effort to take the steps to make that work. When there's
Right.
inspired action, there's more of a flow. It's easier. Not that it isn't work, it still is, but there's a lot more, things come a lot more easier for you when it's inspired. And you find the steps a lot easier to take, and you also find the steps that you need to take a lot
Right.
easier when it's inspired.
For
Does that
me,
make
it's been kind of, there are days when I know I need to be writing my email to go out to my list, and it just isn't there. And so I know that if I made myself do it, it wouldn't be a very good email. It wouldn't flow. It would be torture for me to sit down and do it. And then there might be a time, it might be the same day even, where it just flows out of me, and it's just, I'm writing it down or I'm typing it on the computer or whatever, and it just comes so easily. And is that
Yeah.
what you're meaning, the difference? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge difference, and when we're a business owner, we want to stay on track because we want to keep our list, our community engaged. So one way to do that when you're not feeling inspired, which goes along with the alignment, is to read the book that inspires you, or listen to an iPod that inspires you, or something
Right.
that or podcast, that inspires you. There's something that lifts you into that energy of what you're doing. And
Right.
that can sometimes help. I know as a
Mhm.
songwriter, I've been a songwriter for years, that I need to do sometimes because I get the dry spells, just like writers do, right?
Sure.
And it
Absolutely.
helps inspire you. So that can help as an entrepreneur as well. But that is definitely the difference.
Yes. Okay. And as far as overspending, then in this scenario, it seems like if you're doing a lot of action because you should, and other people are doing this, and it's not coming from an inspired place, the chances of overspending then.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to overspend because you tend to take action in areas that aren't necessarily conducive to where your business is in that moment.
Right.
You know, for instance, you know, you don't want to sign up for what is the big one? I forgot the name of the big. It's not Constant Contact. Like I use AWeber, but there's a huge one that's a lot more expensive. You know, hundreds of dollars a year, or $300 a month or something. Right. But the business, if the business isn't to that level yet, you're over. And I knew a young woman who did that at one of the conventions I was at, you know, and she was just starting her business. She didn't even have a list yet, and she bought into that. Infusionsoft was the name of it. And it's a great program. It's a great program. But your business has to be to that level. So the inspired action is that it's thought through. You're not just acting on woo-woo, it's thought through, but it feels good. And you don't feel like, oh my God, I don't know, you know, I'm going to do this because I really need it, but now I feel really crunchy around the money, because you want to feel that open flow of money. Right. You don't want to feel crunchy about it, you know, or feel like in fear of not having enough or spending too much, because you're just going to sabotage the work that you're trying to do if you do that. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference in taking inspired action when it comes to not going into debt, especially as a new entrepreneur. Exactly. Okay.
And so that kind of brings up, for me at least, and probably for the listeners, how do we know when we're in alignment with our vision?
Well, we know that we're in alignment, and that goes into knowing who we are, right? So if you're connected with all of the totality of who you are, the spirit, the mind, the emotion, and the physical part of you, and you're drawing from the higher place, you know, you're getting the inspired action. You know that you're in alignment when you feel good, because everything besides peace, love, and joy, any other feelings besides those and gratitude is of lower vibration, right? So that isn't in alignment with the vibration or the feelings that you would get if you had what you wanted. If you had already created this viable business, or more clients, or more money, or whatever it is your vision is, you know, more global impact, that's going to bring you a sense of joy and love and happiness and gratitude. And if you're not feeling that now, you're not in alignment with that vision. So you have to feel exactly what you would feel if that vision was already had already come into view. And the thing that I think is really interesting that I want to point out is that we never really get there. We have a vision and we go, okay, we're going to get here, and yeah, I'm going to be really happy when that happens. And so we stay in alignment, we get there, but it expands. So it's a constant process, because we're always expanding. As soon as we get close, or either get to where we're going or get close to where we're going, that vision expands and it goes out and there's more. Right.
It's like having a goal or a vision. Yeah, you're never going to really reach it.
You're never going to reach it. And that's how it should be, you know?
Yeah,
we're constantly growing, and that's the journey.
Right.
It's to stay in joy, love, peace, and gratitude place the majority of the time, and have that be the dominant way that you are in motion, and that is in alignment with your vision.
Right.
So anything opposite of that, the fear, you know, the sense of lack, anything like that is not in alignment.
Okay. Wow. So what's the one thing that our listeners can do right now to begin to get the kind of results that they're looking for?
The one thing that they can do is keep their sights on what they really want to accomplish, what their vision really is, and then take bite-sized pieces of that. Like have a big vision, you know, have a big dream. That's awesome. But take bite-sized pieces of it, and what can I do right now, today, for this week? Break it down into comfortable, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself, because then you'll stop, you'll sabotage yourself, you'll procrastinate, right? I've done this so many times. So you want to take bite-sized pieces and say, you know, what can I do? Even if it's like, when I started, I did videos. I didn't know what else to do. I had no money. So I started putting out tapping videos for free on YouTube and then directing them back to my website where they could sign up for my newsletter. So I started just collecting, you know, my community, right? Growing my community in that way. And eventually I became more and more known on YouTube and then began to get clients coming to me. So I put programs together. So it was a slow growth, but I did what I could in the moment instead of taking this. Okay, I'm going to start a coaching program right now, and I don't even know where to start with this program or what to do. So I allowed myself to grow into my business. And I think that that's really an important thing to know, is just take the bite size and do what feels good. It keeps you happy and doesn't overwhelm you.
Right.
I mean, we always have to push ourselves a little bit, but not to the point of sabotaging.
And everything is about balance, and it's finding what that balance is. Yeah,
definitely.
Good. Well, thank you. It's great advice. Do you want to talk a little bit about the free gift that you have for the listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. I have an ebook that I put together. It's an entrepreneur's top 5 money mastery secrets. And in it, it explains one of my favorite modalities, which we didn't talk about, which is tapping, which helps keep us in alignment with our vision. So it helps get rid of the fears and the lack, and it's excellent to use around money issues, as you know.
Yes, I do.
I know you do. And then, and keeps you in alignment. Helps keep you in alignment and in that truth of who you are and the power that you really have and the gifts that you have to offer this world. So it has tapping in it, and it also explains a little bit of the science behind tapping and how it actually works.
Great.
Yeah, and then explains to the entrepreneur, you know, how they can use it in their business.
Wonderful. I look forward to that. And for the audience, all you need to do is click on the button below the video and you will get right to Judy's free gift. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here, Judy. I really enjoyed talking to you, and it's interesting because we started out doing, you know, the same kind of work and how we've done it in a very different way now, which is cool.
Yeah. It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for asking me.
You're very welcome. And I saw all those YouTube videos. That's how I got to know you.
Oh, awesome.
Videos. Yeah. So, and I want to thank the audience for being here, for being on the Rewrite Your Money Story series. So, and tune in for tomorrow's show, where we'll have another expert who will talk about overspending, getting into debt, how to get out of debt, why you got into debt, all of that good stuff. So I will see you then. Thank you.